What's up, everybody? This is Jay the Wanderer with Oakland Latinos Unidos, aka Oakland Latinos United, the voice of the Latino community in the Bay Area, California, YouTube, and beyond. Well, I got a new video for you to enjoy, and this video I'm about to do is about the history of Northern California Chicano rap. Yes, I said it. California Chicano rap that was from Northern California. And this is basically the history of it. And the reason I want to make this video is because I've seen a couple of videos where like guys from LA were trying to make videos about the history of Chicano rap in LA, and then like on a lot of like rap songs from Northern California Chicanos, a lot of fools that are from Northern California, they try to act like they know about it, but yet they don't know shit about it. So I'm about to break it down for you could know the history of rap here in the Bay Area and in the Central Valley. And some might ask, how far does Chicano rap from the Bay go back? You know, Chicano hip-hop, Chicano rap. Well, it goes far back as the late 80s, you know. Rappers in Northern California have been rapping since the late 80s. Chicano rappers from Northern California have been rapping since the late 80s. And we're going to find out who those groups are, and we're also going to find out, you know, how can I say, we're going to hear samples of their music. So let's take a trip back in time, to another era in the history of Chicano rap, and I'm gonna let you know which were the first groups out here. Okay, one of the first rappers, Chicano rappers in Northern California was this guy right here. His name was Dino, and he's more notoriously known as a norteno rapper or gangbang rapper. But if you heard his old stuff, he didn't really rap about gangs or gangbanging. He mostly rapped about like Chicano pride, about raza. He rapped about violence, gang violence, and he rapped about actually more positive things than he did later on in his career. And Sir Dino was one of the members of the famous darkroom familia. But Sir Dino has been rapping since 1988. I'm pretty sure a lot of you might know that, but a lot of you don't know that. So he is truly one of the pioneers of Chicano rap in the Bay, in Northern California, whether it be the Bay Area or the Central Valley. But he was from Central Valley, and he was from, I believe, Stockton or Tracy. And he said, I read in an article where he said that he started rapping because he had heard Too Short, and he had heard Too Short rapping about Oakland, you know, about Northern California, and that inspired him to want to rap about where he was from. And he started rapping, and this was actually an album he did in 1995. It was called Interview with a Chicano. But Sir Dino was probably one of the first rappers, Chicano rappers in Northern California. And I've known about Sir Dino, going back since like 1991. I had one of his first albums because he was part of another crew. There was the early Darkroom, and that's this crew right here. They were called Temporary Insanity. And Temporary Insanity was a rap group from Hayward. And it was four dudes. It was Duke, who's from Darkroom Familia, Crooked, who's a dude from West Oakland, a black dude. It was Sir Dino, and it was Duke, who's from Hayward, Crooked, his brother, who's from Hayward, Sir Dino, and a black dude from West Oakland named D-Roll. They were the ones that were part of Temporary Insanity, and Temporary Insanity started out like in the early 90s too. This album right here is from like 1994. I used to have it. It's called Bitches Never Learn. I bought it way back in the days, you know what I mean? But Temporary Insanity was what Darkroom Familia was called before they became known as Darkroom Familia, and that was back in the days, you know what I mean? So I've known about Darkroom Familia and Sir Dino going back to about 91, you know, so I've known about them for years, and all these youngsters now, they try to act like they know. They really don't know shit, because I was bumping them when they were barely coming in their dad's balls, you feel me? Before they were even born, I was already bumping Darkroom Familia. So, you know, for all you youngsters that don't know, Darkroom Familia goes back to the late 80s, early 90s, son. And they were called Temporary Insanity. And this album, Bitches Never Learn, was probably one of the best albums they did. And that album came out, I believe, in 94. And yeah, they were some of the pioneers, definitely, of Chicano rap in Northern California. And like I said, if you hear their old music, they don't rap about norte or none of that shit. They rap about the streets, about Chicanos, about fights, about, you know, the reality. you know, and it was better back then, I think, than what happened later when they started becoming norteno rappers and promoting gang violence and stupid ass shit. But yeah, I mean, I really, really like their old shit. I still bump it to this day. I ain't gonna lie. I still be bumping the old Sir Dino stuff and the old Temporary Insanity. I have it all on CD, you know, so that's cool shit. So let's go to some other rappers. That's Temporary Insanity. Okay, this is another rap group that was famous. And they were from the Bay Area. They were a Chicano rap group, and they were called Aztlan Nation. Aztlan Nation was from West Berkeley, California, and they were a Chicano rap group, and they basically were a political rap group. They were similar to Public Enemy. They were like a Chicano Public Enemy. They rapped about La Raza, about unity. They rapped against gang violence. They were badass, and I heard they had been rapping since the late 80s as well, since like around 89, 88. And you know, they didn't. I had heard about them. I remember in the early '90s, but they didn't really come out with. This is their first album, and they didn't come out with an album till like '92. So, but I had this album definitely when it first came out. But yeah, I believe some of them were from Oakland, but I think this dude was from Oakland, and the other two dudes were from Berkeley. But yeah, they were Bay Area pioneers. You know, they were one of the first Chicano rap groups in the Bay Area. And they were one of the first to put it on wax, and they were badass. You know what I mean? I'll never forget this album. That shit was tight. And that goes back, like I said, to the late 80s, early 90s. Another rap group that was famous, hold on, let me find it. Let me go back, I'm sorry. I fucked up. Was this rap group. This rap group was another pioneering rap group. They were from Vallejo, California. They were called the Funky Aztecs. And this album actually came out in 1991. And I remember owning this album when I was a little kid, when I was a teenager, you know, and at first I thought they were from Oakland, but later turned out they were from Vallejo, but it was called Chicano Blues, and it was a badass album. They were rapping about, you know, unity, about Chicano unity. They were rapping about the Brown Berets, power to the people, Chicano power. They were badass, you know, and believe it or not, this mural right here, that you see, it's an Aztec mural, I don't know if you can see it that good, was drawn by my friend. His name is Zachary Neville. They call him Joker from Oakland. He drew that for them. And this is supposed to symbolize norteños and sureños and the dude in the middle trying to bring peace. That's what that meant. And this is from 1991, from the Bay Area, from Vallejo, California. You know, but I believe one of the Funky Aztecs might have been from Oakland. I'm not sure, but I do know Oakland is connected with them somehow. But they were one of the pioneering rap groups from the Bay Area. Another rap group that was fucking badass back then was this rap group right here. They were called Brown Skin Artists, and they were from Westside Berkeley, from Berkeley, California. They were a Chicano and a Salvadorian dude, Mr. Chuco and Bago. And this album came out in like 93 or 94, and they're also one of the old school rap groups from the Bay Area, one of the pioneers, and they were badass, you know what I mean? I remember I used to have this album, and it was badass, barrio funk. Well, let's hear some samples of some of the music that I have. Here's a sample of Aztlan Nation. That's Aztlan Nation. Here's Temporary Insanity, which is early darkroom familia. This is 1993-94. Song's called Losing My Mind. Duke from Darkroom Familia, original Temporary Insanity. That's Temporary Insanity. Listen to Sir Dino's early stuff. This song is from 1989. It was one of his first songs. That was Sir Dino. I'm about to run out of time. You can hear brown skin artist real quick too. From Berkeley, California. This is like 1993, 94, Berkeley, California rap. Brown skin artist.
Left, right, left, put your dollars in check. Cause fools like me ain't got time. Cause I'm down for mine and I'm down for the grind.
So there you have it. That's the history of Chicano rap from the Bay Area. Even though I was inspired by a lot of LA rappers to, LA rappers are the ones that brought me into Chicano rap. I gotta give the history of Northern California Chicano rap also. So I'm out of time. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm out. Late.